Good evening, everyone. Whether you're watching live or on replay, welcome and well done for getting as far as Thursday. So, we've done most of the intense stuff already. We've got lots of time now to mull it over until Sunday. And tonight's session is a little bit of a rounding up and some information on how you can make affirmations really powerful using your actual fears, limiting belief, self-sabotage, actually using them for the good. All right, so I've already been mentioning to start writing down some of the things, and I've actually written some of what you've put down already, and I'm going to use those as examples, as well as my own examples as well. So it's really important to now start to face your fears. Okay, this is where a lot of people do fall down because at this point you think, oh, you know what? No, I'm just not ready. Hi, Pat Lovely. Or, you know what? That's enough for me for now. Maybe I'll come back to it another time. But if you can actually push through this bit, whether it's today you do it or when you come back on Sunday, then you have really made a massive breakthrough because this is really starting to unravel what's been holding you back so far. And as I said this morning on the live, I've got lots of examples of how I want to do this with you. So one of the things about affirmations is that sometimes we feel that they're just words and they don't really resonate with us. And often that's because if you remember the subconscious, the theory of the mind, where the 12% is all based on our cognitive mind and the 88% is actually our subconscious. So if we're just telling it to ourselves, that line across the top, if you remember from my drawing, the critical filter is what actually stops us believing it. Just a little reminder, the theory of the mind. So when we just tell ourselves something on a conscious level, it's not even nearly as effective of when we actually marry our subconscious together. How we marry our subconscious is through emotion, and it's also through the subconscious. So we're going to be doing both of that on Sunday night. And not only that, but actually believing in yourself and seeing yourself. And that is Sunday night's meditation. It's also giving you an opportunity to sort of really believe some of these things as well. And that is one of the things we're going to be doing. And the repetition as well. It's actually giving yourself a deeper reason as to why you're doing this anyway. So trust me on that final meditation on Sunday. It's going to be amazing. So I'm now preparing you for that. So I'm just going to give you a personal example. When I first got promoted to a manager, when I was working for LG back over in Dubai, I didn't have any training. I didn't have any support. I didn't even have any warning, didn't have any mentoring. Suddenly my manager left and I was asked to take his place. And I went from a team member to a manager from my own peer group. And basically off you go, off you pop. And I didn't even want to be a manager, okay? And it was really, really hard. And I had a mainly Korean team. Some of them couldn't even speak English that well. By the time we finished, actually, we were really, really high performing team. I learned a little bit of Korean, not enough to properly communicate, but to show them that I was interested in what they were doing in terms of learning English, and I could appreciate how hard it was for them. Luckily, one of the team members had a PhD in English and he used to do a lot of translation in the beginning. But my point is, I was so scared. I was so fearful of running that team and messing up and these people being responsible for me. And I so many self-sabotaging thoughts that on the evening before the beginning of the week where we'd have our team meetings, I'd just cry in the toilet and I'd be like, what am I doing? I just want to leave. And I found it really, really hard. That is actually how I got into NLP. There wasn't any support for me. Much, I don't know what it's like these days in a lot of companies, but at that point there wasn't. So I sought out the support for myself. And this is what I'm always coming back to. Owning your own life, being empowered when you feel completely lost, the victim, alone, you have always got you. Okay. Good evening, Marie. I'm so glad to see you as well. So I went for some coaching and I loved NLP so much that I then went and trained in it. And it really helped me as a manager, as a person, and as a coach. And it was from there that I started to understand the power of words. And then, of course, being trained as a hypnotherapist, even more so. And this is why your words are really important for the final meditation on Sunday night. I can say some generic words, of course, but when you're actually writing what is important to you, this is really what hits the nerve, okay? So as I'm going through some of my examples in sharing some of the potential self-sabotaging thoughts that you have, I want you to do the same. This is the task, okay? The task will be to write down what your affirmations are, but really I'm looking for one power one. But if you want to write like 10, if you want to get a few in there, get them all written down. But what I'm asking for is one. How do we get there then? So again, what I want to come back to is that it's more than just words, it's more than just what you're saying to yourself. It's how you actually emotionally connect with them. And this is the power of words. I've got so many things to share with you. There's the whole words on water experiment and rice. We did that in our team to actually appreciate the power of words. We did it with 2 jars of rice. We spoke to 1 jar of rice and with negative energy. We spoke to the other jar of rice with love. We did this experiment twice, and both times it was the exact same results. The jar with love was basically pure white rice a month later, just hard, and the jar with negative energy was dark green and black. So what are we actually doing to ourselves? I found that just absolutely fascinating. Good evening, Emily. So I've got so many more stories on words, and I share a lot about these in the club. But for tonight, what I want to focus on is what are these things that are coming up, because these are the things that stop you. Okay, and this is why you'll see as the week goes on, not everybody will. I'll share the pictures, Andrea. I've still got the pictures on my Facebook. I will share them. And we did it twice because we were like, really. We really want you to know when we watched it like exactly the same. We put the lids on. We really made sure it was accurate. So what I want you to do, as I was saying, as we go through the week, you'll notice that people will drop off. Now, I'm hoping that if you're just watching this and you feel like you're not fully participating yet, but you think you might, you've still got time. You can still go back to the beginning, because actually there is only 4 things to do. It might feel like there's loads of stuff, and that's just because I have my own process of how I work through things. But some people can come up with an answer like that. You don't have to go through my process. What we're going to be doing is we've got task 1, transformation statement. Okay. We've got task 2 is doing your NLP life wheel and working out what is your main thing that you want to work on. Task 3 was looking at how, and in which case, what are you actually going to do? And task 4 is what is your power affirmation? That is all you actually need to do and put in the comments, and you're already on a roll. Sunday night will give you the power boost that you need to keep yourself motivated and on your goal. Okay, and you can listen to that anytime. So what I did was, when I was a new manager, knowing the power of words and mantra and being in the car, knowing that it gets deeper into your subconscious, hence why I've put the affirmation of Louise Hayes in the group as well. And I actually wrote down what I was fearful of. I was fearful that they wouldn't follow me, that they wouldn't listen to me, that I wasn't strong enough, all these different things that you fear. And I wrote down the words that I wanted to be. I wanted to be charismatic. I want to be a charismatic leader. I wanted to be supportive. I wanted to be approachable. And I wanted to be a mentor. And I had this song that I used to play over and over on the way to work. And it was like, it was instrumental. It didn't have any words. And I literally used to rap it to myself. I was like, I'm charismatic. I'm a mentor. And I just got over and over. And I felt like a right idiot. And it was, nobody asked me to do it. It was just something I did for myself. And it just started to sink in. And I started to believe it. You don't always believe it at first. So when you're doing your first attempt at mantras or affirmations, you might take it lighter, and then you might go a little bit more hardcore later on. So I've got some examples for you. So at this point, you might be feeling it, as I say, you might be feeling it's a little getting difficult, because you're really getting to those barriers now. You're really getting to the good stuff, okay? And then that's where we can catastrophize our feelings, can't we? We can go down that spiral, or we can do the self-sabotage. We can bring out the limiting beliefs. I want you to bring out those limiting beliefs and self-sabotage. I want you to write down what is going through your head. And based on that, that is where you actually set your positive affirmations, okay? So I've got some other things that I want to go through in terms of how you can really build your habit. One of them is praising little wins. So again, I want to remind you that it's about baby steps and praising them. We're really looking at how can we make our lives easier? How can we make it easier to achieve these things? What are those barriers? Then we're going to build from there. So I've actually got some suggestions. You remember I was telling you that one of my favourite phrases is my me time is for everybody else's health and safety. Well, another one of my phrases is everyone's a schizo. And I came up with this because I'm the kind of person that loses my keys quite a lot. And sometimes one version of me is very organised. And I actually think, oh my gosh, I think I've got over this whole key losing thing because I'm so shit hot at it now. And then the other version of me is like, and I can't find them for like 3 hours, or I lose them completely. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's still a big part of you. What I don't do now is beat myself up about that. I even laugh about it. But what I do try to do is when I'm in the other version of me, the other character of me, where I'm actually doing quite well, I try to build a new habit where I put those keys. Okay, that makes my life easier. I certainly don't beat myself up if I lose them, and I don't beat up other people now, which I used to do when they lost their keys, because really all that was a mirror of myself that I didn't like about myself, that I hadn't accepted about myself. So we have two choices in life. When there's something that's coming up that's bothering us, we can either accept it and work on genuinely accepting it, or we can learn to develop it. And I tried for quite a while. I do keep trying with the keys, but I also work on accepting it's part of me. Okay. So what I would like to suggest to you is that you play around with these two versions of yourself. You've got that version of yourself that's like you're on it, you're organized, you're doing the healthy eating. You've got that version of yourself that's not. And you've got that version of yourself that can relax and have downtime. And you've got that version of yourself that's hyper and productive. There's no rights or wrongs, and it's all about balance. But yesterday, I asked you to tell me what are the things that you're going to do and what are the things that you're not going to do. Now, what is going to make your life easier? And these are some really big tips coming up. It's divided into 3 sections. I've got it written down. 1 is about planning ahead. 2 is about mindset. And 3 is about anchoring your new habit to something that you've already developed, such as brushing your teeth, right? And that makes it easier because it's already embedded. So, for example, if you wanted to get to the gym more often, simple things like getting your clothes out the night before, putting them out by the door, or, even sleeping in them. So you just get up and go, for example. If one of your things is that you want to be more hydrated instead of drinking so much coffee, maybe in the morning at the side of your coffee machine, you have a pint of water ready to go. You might on a Sunday night decide that that's the time that you're going to do your food planning. Okay, these are lots of examples. Remember, don't overwhelm yourself. You're only looking at 1 or 2 things here. These are just different things. If your tendency is to order takeaway because you drive past it, drive home a different way. These kind of things. If you're wanting to stop looking at your phone as often, turn off the Wi-Fi at the plug, if nobody else is using it. Set screen things on your phone. Make it easy for yourself to not fail. When it comes to mindset, things like going over your mantra, that's what we're going to be doing today. It's about keeping yourself accountable. Is it to me? Is it to somebody else? Accountability buddy. Is it about you communicating your goals to somebody else? And with that, trying to figure out who are the people that trip you up, actually. Who are the people that are bad influences? Or who are the people that try to sabotage you? It's not just you that's sabotaging yourself. And that could be your loved ones. And half the time it's because they don't like change either, even if change is for the better. So have a think about that one. And the mindset as well, like praising wins. Are you the kind of person that you want to tick something off every day as a result and reward yourself? Then do it. Okay. Set it up to win. Anchoring. So anchoring is when you're setting something new to something that you're already doing. So for example, you brush your teeth every day. Why not just say your mantra to yourself 3 times as a habit? Develop that habit in the morning and the evening. Another one is if it's winter and you're waiting for your screen to unfreeze, you could just close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths, right? You're breathing. If you're getting into pajamas or you have a bath on a night, you could just run through your gratitude list. You don't have to do all of these things, remember. It's not about doing everything. It's just about picking 1 or 2 things. Could just be 1 thing that week. Let's keep coming back to simplifying. Okay, so loads of other advice and suggestions on there. But what I want to do is come back to the thing for tonight, because I'm trying to make it a little bit shorter for you this evening, especially for those that are catching up and they're thinking, oh, do I want to watch another long video? So tonight is nice, short and sweet, getting to the point, what is coming up for you. Now, those of you that have been working with me for a while, especially when we're doing our morning motivations, you're used to checking in with your body, mind and soul and figuring out, what am I feeling today? Even if you think you're in a good place, sometimes there's something niggling. Let's just sort that out straight away. So we do that, especially on a Monday morning. But you might not be used to it. You might be used to brushing it under the carpet or trying to be positive all the time and not really acknowledging what is really going on inside. So I gave you some examples this morning, and I've got some here with some opposites. So when I say opposite, is instead of you thinking a certain thing about yourself, you need to turn it on its head and start saying these things about yourself instead. Remember what I said about the power of the mind? It's about reinforcement, 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 and then cementing. And that's why we do it quite regularly in the club itself. So I've got some examples here. I don't have time. Okay. So another way to say that is, time bends when I need it. I easily prioritize and have more than enough. Do you see how different that feels? You don't have time because you're prioritizing something else. Okay. You might not have time because you think, well, it's not possible. I showed you my calendar yesterday about childcare options. Literally do not have time. But I do actually have options. And I can also consider things like maybe an extra couple of hours of childcare, speaking to my little girl's dad about our routine, going to bed later or working on a night instead of working through the day. I've actually spoken to some of you who are already actioning these things. I've spoken to people who have said, actually, I'm going to start walking through my lunch hour instead of later on. And then I'll just work a little bit at night time instead of through the day, right? You're doing it already. Another one, and this was one of the examples that I read on your post today. I'm too lazy. Okay. This is your self-sabotaging thought. And another alternative to that could be, I allow myself to rest, ride the waves of productivity, and know how to motivate myself. That is so much more empowering, because we can all feel like we think that we're lazy, but we're not. We're not lazy. We just get tired and we get fatigued and we get demotivated by certain things. And usually it's because of our mind. We demotivate ourselves, and sometimes other people demotivate us. So we need to set ourselves up to win. I allow myself to rest. I ride the waves of productivity, and I know how to motivate myself, right? Focus on that. Got loads of examples. I fear I won't be able to. So I've got here, I believe in myself and I can see the future. People won't like it. I forge my own way despite others' opinions and trust my leadership. I'm scared to rock the boat. How I live is my karma. How others receive it is theirs. What if I lose them? I trust those who are meant to be in my life will be, and may space be created for wonderful new people in my life. What if I overwhelm myself? And then this is tied to one that somebody put in the group today as well, which I can't cope with life's difficulties. And I've got this. I trust I can handle what comes up for me. I have all the resources inside and I know when to say no. How much more empowering is that? I mean, and it's not even like you're saying something that's unbelievable. This is believable. And like I say, you can get into like full on hardcore mantras, as you get used to them, which is like, I'm amazing. I am more than good enough. I am absolutely gorgeous. I'm a beautiful person inside and out. That may not resonate with you in the beginning because you might be and if it doesn't, that is a sign to say you need to be practicing some new rewiring in your brain about what you're saying to yourself. Okay. That is a sign, because we can say those things about us because they're true, right? I don't want to be alone is another one. My example is, if being alone is my next chapter, I choose this for peace over panic, because that's come up a few times. And I look forward to new connections. And another one for that is, I always have me. And if you know what I'm talking about here, that is powerful. I always have me. Let's see, the last one I have here is maybe I'm too old to change. And the other one for this is transformation occurs continuously. Therefore, so does change. Therefore, so do I. So I embrace change. Okay. So that is how to go about setting your affirmations that are going to be really powerful. It might take you a few goes. Exactly. Marina, and one of my favorite ones is by Michelangelo, which is I'm still learning, brackets, aged 88. And I just think that is just beautiful. Always stay learning, always stay changing, always transformation. And age is irrelevant when it comes to change, isn't it? So if you know what I'm saying in terms of your mindset around it. So really hone in, and it might take you these next few days. You've got a few days now just to chill, to mull this over, to go back over anything that you want to send me messages, preferably in the group so everyone can see the reply because it's helpful to everybody. You've got time to go back to some of those tasks and see if you're happy with them, if you want to tweak them. And then I'll put the post, you just put your power mantra. And if you want to add more than one, please go ahead. I will add them in on Sunday. Sunday will be on Zoom. I will share the link. It's just really lovely to see the faces that you've been talking to. But of course, if you're uncomfortable to show your face, that's absolutely fine. It's just nice to all get together and see the community that we've been a part of. So that's all it is. We've got our transformation statement. We've got our top priority, what we need to look at in terms of our life wheel. We've got the hows, what we're going to do or not do. And then we've got our power mantra that's going to make sure that we keep getting there. We're going to hone that in on Sunday night as we sort of embed all of that into our visualization using NLP technique to allow you to see yourself doing these things, doing it well, feeling amazing. And that is going to really anchor deep into your subconscious. Trust me on that one. So that is it, everybody. I hope that you have found it so far really beneficial. As I said, keep popping some comments in here. I will reply to you as soon as I can. I'm going to take a couple of days off lives. I will be back on Sunday night and I will be there to finish with you there. And of course, I'll be talking about the membership and the prizes, which at the moment, if only I think 6 of you answer the questions, then you'll all get a prize because I've got quite a few. So including the Alteria wellness oils. By the way, don't forget there's still a sale on those this until the end of January. So if you want some more oils, get your order in. The 5 main colours of the parfum and the oils, the ones that I've got in stock. You're most welcome, everybody. Have a lovely rest of your evening. Keep talking, keep sharing, keep supporting each other. And I will see you on Sunday night. Bye for now.